Hey everyone, it's me, the Yatco Fango here with Yatco, the voice of
Nobara, Kugisaki, and the Raiden Shogun.
Yes. So it's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet
Is this
you.
your first Anime Frontier?
This is my first Anime Frontier.
Well, welcome to Anime Frontier. Is this your first time in Dallas?
No, it is not.
Okay. What other cons in Dallas have you been to?
I was just here in June for A-Con.
Oh, you were at Acon. I was like, I didn't know you were there though.
Yay.
My first question for you is, what made you want to get into voice acting?
Well, when I was, let's not say my age, when I was a little girl, I saw The Little Mermaid, Disney's The Little Mermaid, and like I fell in love with it. Like Disney movies and Disney princesses were like my thing, right? And I really wanted to be the voice of a Disney princess, and I still do.
Okay.
So
Someday.
but like that was kind of like my first like blush with a love for voice acting. But I didn't really think that was like a career. I just like, oh, that'd be cool. Like saying I want to be an astronaut, you know, which I also did. But I always loved performing, and I took singing lessons and piano lessons. I was in choir for so many years. I did all the school plays and all this stuff. And then when I went off to college, I got a degree in biomedical engineering. But the whole time I was doing plays on campus. I was at the theater school the entire time. And when I was about to graduate, I decided to try out for, and I got into grad school for acting.
Okay.
So I changed over, got my MFA in acting, and moved out to California, studied there for 3 years, and then student loans are a real thing. So I decided to get a day job, and I was a forensic scientist for 7 years.
That's cool, actually.
It was an interesting job.
Was it fun?
It was fun, but it was also really stressful because
I can imagine.
I mean, what I was doing, I wasn't doing like blood spatter analysis or anything like that. It was mostly like analyzing like data about like car accidents or like premises liability cases. But the thing about that job was that you're always reading about someone's worst day.
And you probably go home a little sad.
Like cumulatively over 7.5 years, like that really got to me, and I needed a break from that. So eventually I left that job and decided to like really pursue acting full time at that point. And during those 7 years, I was still acting.
Yes.
I was doing theater, I was taking classes, doing improv, sketch comedy, voiceover classes. I was booking work while I was doing this full-time job, but I was cutting my teeth doing a lot of live action dubs and then some anime and other smaller projects. But it wasn't until after I left my job that it gave me like kind of like the right headspace to like really dive into classes. Eventually, like I got an agency. I got agency representation, and just that started snowballing in terms of like booking work, getting access to better auditions, and then one day, Jujutsu Kaisen fell in my lap, and the rest is history.
Okay, well that's a little lead in there. For aspiring voice actors out there, I'm one of them. I've done some like fan dubs of like anime and like some abridges. I wrote my own abridge as well. But as for aspiring voice actors out there like myself and other people, I've heard several voice actors say, oh, get an agent, oh, don't get an agent. What's your stance on that?
Well, here's the deal, is that the benefit of an agency is that if you're with the right agency, they're giving you access to better auditions than you can get by yourself. That's the thing. It is entirely possible to craft a career without an agent, but it requires you to essentially be your own agent. I was not really good at being my own agent, so I really only was able to get work from places that I already knew. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I could, I did have like strong relationships with a couple of places that would reliably hire me for stuff. But for someone beginning, the hardest thing is access, and so that's about networking, like making sure you're ready with your reel and everything to then, if you need to do like cold emails to like a studio you're interested in working with, a casting director you're interested in having them like hear your work. It's about like being ready at that right time to then like, reach out, getting to know other people, making a community for yourself, because a lot of times we kind of help each other rise up. So that is such an important part of the job that is the hardest to articulate and to teach. It's like impossible to teach that, right? with the acting aside, like that's the other like super important part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so to get into a little more fun things. So you voiced the Raiden Shogun.
Yeah.
So how did you learn, or did you know going in you were voicing her? Like, how did that process go?
So when I got this like email audition set, it was like a set of a bunch of voices, a bunch of characters that were the Inazuma women.
Yes.
And you know, like they all had, this was all under a code name, right? And all the names were changed, all the places were changed. So I knew I had read for a character, one of many characters, that was a woman who was like the ruler of a nation, who was actually like inside of like a construct that she made and had like a tragic past. And I knew there was like one, what do you call it? Like one instruction, which was that the construct, the puppet, was not a robot. I was like, okay, what does that mean? And so like I kind of just made my best guess. Like I thought like, what is a regal sound? What it like, you know, you think regal, you often think British. And then I was like, okay, well, not British, like mid-Atlantic. And I was like, not even that. So I was like walking myself back, like in terms of like what an accent was. So I think my accent for this is more of like just like a general American accent, with like just a little like properness in there. And then for that kind of regal tone, and then especially for the puppet, giving her kind of like this like breathy quality that kind of makes her seem a little more ethereal. So those were kind of like like in terms of just like me kind of like guessing at what
Everything was?
What everything was, like that kind of eventually like worked its way into like what the voice was for Shogun. And then for A, I thought, let's just warm her up because she's a real live human being. You know, the real, like the original. So like that's kind of like then where I thought about where she would lie. I wanted them to sound, like I didn't try to make them sound too far apart, because in my mind I was like, if you were creating something that's essentially you, then it would have to sound kind of like you. That was my thinking. And it ended up being what they were looking for.
Well, I mean, hey, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I rolled for her when she first came around, and I also got her weapon. Who is your favorite character you've ever voiced?
You're like asking me to pick my favorite child. It's a tie between Nobara and Raiden Shogun.
That's fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
So, if you weren't a voice actor right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
If I wasn't a voice actor right now, I mean, I might still be a forensic scientist.
You think so, yeah?
Probably, yeah. Because they were, honestly, like part of the reason why I left that job was I was at a point where I was like, I have to either make that my lifetime career and like go all in, or I gotta get out.
Is there any character line that you've ever said that's like struck with you, like for Nobara or A or anything?
Let's see, a Nobara line that has stuck with me is her speech to Momo.
Okay.
Yeah, I love myself when I'm pretty and all dressed up, and I love myself when I'm kicking ass.
I mean, that's a good line.
It's a good line.
It's a good line. Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one. I think this will be our last question. Okay. How was it voice acting during COVID? How was that your experience with that?
So before COVID, I had never recorded a session from home. I didn't have a home recording setup. And when everything shut down, I understood that I had to move very quickly to create a home recording space. And so like I basically went on Amazon, I bought all kinds of like acoustic like treatment tiles, took apart like emptied a closet minus clothing, and like it was closets that I could stand in, and so like I like put these tiles up in my closet, like put blankets up everywhere, trying to just like dampen sound, stuck a monitor in there somehow, and like my little preamp, and you know I had to learn how to be my own engineer roughly, to do all this stuff. It was just a lot of learning on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're really good at it.
Thank you.
I think you're a very wonderful voice actress.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And I mean, my favorite character voice is A, just because I like Genshin. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Some people don't like Genshin.
I don't know who they are.
Well, I don't care. I like Genshin. So it was really nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes.
Yes.
And guys, please go follow her on all her social medias, her Twitter, whatever else you may have.
At Yatco on literally everything.
Yes. Follow on Twitter, all that stuff. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on this video. Bye, guys.
Bye.